Hey guys, welcome back to the 4-1 Wheat. Today I'm going to show you how to use a free software online called Ninite that will allow you to update a lot of your runtimes, scripts, and other software. So here we are at ninite.com. I'll put the link in the description below so you could go to it without mistyping it, or so you don't have to search and make sure you're on the wrong site. If you notice, Ninite is a free and open source software that what it does is it allows you to pick certain programs or pieces of software that they have on their website, combine it in one installer, and it'll do all of the installation or updates by itself in the background without you having any user input whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down, and if you notice over here on the side it says it allows you to not have to go through and click next every time you want to install something. It automatically says no to all of the toolbars and extra junk that might be included. Sometimes they want to include a antivirus software scan or something like that. It'll always go out and grab the most up-to-date version of that software directly from the website rather than third-party clients that may be storing that program elsewhere. You don't have to sign up. There is a paid version I'll show you towards the end of this video, but I'm just going to show you how the free one works for now. It does work 32 and 64-bit and in other languages. Again, we'll talk a little bit about the business mode for the Ninite Pro. All I want to do is go through this. So if you notice, I'm using Firefox. So what I want to do is I want it to give me one install program that has a bunch of programs embedded with it. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to choose some of these. We'll choose Firefox. I don't want any of the messaging. For media, we'll do VLC player. I'm going to do Flash, just the Flash for other browsers. And then there's a Flash for Internet Explorer. I'll do Java. I'll do the Adobe Air and Shockwave. .NET is a little bit bigger of a program, and you must install Silverlight in order to have the most recent up-to-date of .NET. But these runtimes allow websites to work or allow certain programs to work. So generally you're going to want pretty much at least the ones I have checked here. And then in other instances you may want to go make sure you have Silverlight and the .NET. I'm going to talk about some photo editing programs here in the future, so I'm not going to cover any of these for now. But if you wanted to get Adobe Reader, let's get that. There's a trial version for Microsoft Office. I'm going to do another video talking about OpenOffice and LibreOffice later, so we'll skip those. Here's some antivirus software. And while I'm thinking about that, if you go all the way up to the top, notice there is a link if you have Linux. So if you're on a Linux distribution, you could still use this website. As far as I know, there is not one for the Mac or for the Apple computers. This is mainly for Windows and for Linux. So we're going to come back down. I'm going to skip a lot of this, file sharing, online storage. I've did some videos on those before. We talked a little bit about Evernote in the past as well. And then utilities, there's just different things bundled up in here. I'm just going to stick with what I have, and I'm going to click on Get Installer. And what it's going to do is it's going to save this to my computer. I don't want to run it from the browser. I want to make sure I save it. And if I save it, and if there's ever an issue in the future, I can just go from that install file wherever it was. Okay, so my computer always stores everything to the desktop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this and minimize so we can see the desktop. And up here in the top left corner, you'll see I have the Ninite software installer that it just downloaded to my machine. If I double click it, you may have to right click and run as administrator if it doesn't allow you to do this. You may get the user account control screen pop up. Just click OK. It's going to prepare a setup, and then I'm going to click show details. But in here it shows what exactly it's doing. So the application for Firefox, it didn't have to download or install anything because I already had the most up-to-date piece of software. Same thing for Flash. It said it wasn't supported because it's part of Windows, and then this Flash, it was already up to date. So Air, I didn't have the most up-to-date one, so it downloaded it and then it installed it. Right now it's downloading the most recent Java, and then it's going to install this. Then it's going to go to the next Java, and so on and so forth down the list. So again, this is doing all of this in the background. I don't have to have any user input to click next and go to the next installation or to install the next file. I don't have to make sure I'm not installing toolbars or virus scans or things like that. So this is a very good way to make sure you're installing the most recent up-to-date programs. So we'll give this a second. I'll stop the video and we'll skip ahead until this is done. Alright, so it's done installing, and if you noticed again, it skipped a few of these programs, and if I wanted to retry those to reinstall, that might be a way for me to do that. In some cases, I might want to make sure whatever program it's trying to install is not currently running. So if I were to close Firefox and maybe retry, it might not necessarily, see, it's not skipping it this time, it's downloading it because there was an update. And since I had Firefox open, it couldn't go download the most recent update because it was running in the background. So that's just something to keep in mind. Depending on what you're doing, you want to make sure that program isn't running in the background. So we'll give this a second and then we'll come back. Alright, so once it's finished, you'll notice everything is either downloaded and installed to the most recent one, or it was skipped if I already had the most recent one. So we can click close. And then if you're a little bit stickler like me, you might not like all of these icons on your desktop. So if you notice, they just have the arrow in the bottom left corner of the icon. That just means it's a shortcut. So I could just click the delete key on my keyboard and then move these to the recycle bin and not have them on my desktop. Now this install file, this is never going to change. So if I just wanted to re-update all of the programs I have already installed, I could just double click this and run this same program again. And what it's going to do is it's going to go look for updates again. So if you notice, it already skipped everything and it's already all up to date. So it didn't have to do any of these programs. But maybe in a month or two, if I wanted to update all of these programs, I could just simply run that install file again and it would keep them up to date. And that would keep you from having to mess with the bottom right corner of your screen anytime a little update pops up. Rather than doing it that way and having to click next through all the steps, you could just run this install file and it'll do all of that automatically. Alright, so we're back here at Ninite.com, and I just wanted to go back through the Linux page real quick just to show you that there's different programs based on whichever operating system you're using. So for Linux, there's different programs that you may not see on a Windows machine and vice versa. And then the last thing is under this Pro option, or the Pro link, Ninite offers a program for businesses or for home use. If you want the icon in the bottom right corner, that might automatically keep you up to date. And to keep you from having to manually go run the installer and check for updates, it'll automatically do it for you in the system tray down here in the bottom right corner. So if you scroll down, you just notice that they're advertising that you won't have the updates or notifications from those programs. It's a little bit faster. It offers other features that those programs can't. And depending on how you're going to implement it would depend on which version you would like to have. So obviously if you're in a business setting, you might want this larger version where you can have upwards of 100 machines. And then in some cases, if you're a smaller business, you could do the $20 a month. Alright, lastly, if we go all the way back to the top, and if we click on Updater, this is the program I was talking about for $10, or I believe it's $30 for the year. Let's see, right here. So 1 year is $30, and that will do 5 machines or 5 PCs. And if you have just one, you could just do the $10 version. And again, there is a free version as well, and it's just more of a manual update rather than automatically. So this would allow you to do it by itself. And there's some frequent asked questions as well. Again, I'll put the link in the description. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to help. Again, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.